Have you seen all these claims all over the internet, on social media, saying intermittent fasting is the one and only way to lose fat, as well as the OMAD diet, but you're not really sure if it's right for you or if the things you're hearing are true? Don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to break down the science behind intermittent fasting and the OMAD diet so you have a better understanding to decide whether this might be the right path for you on your weight loss or your fat loss journey. In this video, I'm going to quickly go over what is intermittent fasting, how does intermittent fasting work, and both the pros and the cons of intermittent fasting and the OMAD diet, so that by the end of watching this video, you will be educated and informed with the right information so you can make an educated decision as to whether intermittent fasting might be a tool that you want to try on your weight loss journey. So let's get right into it. But of course, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you get a notification when I release a new video just like this one every single week. My name's Michelle Roots, kinesiologist, personal trainer, nutrition coach, and fitness and fat loss motivation specialist. I have over 17 years experience in the industry helping people increase lean muscle, decreasing body fat to become the leanest, strongest, healthiest versions of themselves. And I created this channel because I want to help you as well. So let's start by breaking down what is intermittent fasting and the OMAD diet. So intermittent fasting is not necessarily another fad diet, it's more of an eating pattern. And it's basically cycling between periods of eating food and fasting. The main idea is to restrict your food intake for certain hours of the day, leading to a caloric deficit, which in turn can help with weight loss or fat loss. And then something else you might have heard of on the internet somewhere is the OMAD diet. So that stands for 1 meal a day, which follows the same principles as intermittent fasting. However, just like it's named, you are only eating 1 meal a day. I'll explain a little bit more further in the video about how to structure that OMAD diet. So that's the main gist of intermittent fasting or OMAD. So basically you're eating for a certain window of the day and the rest of the time you are fasting. Now these eating windows and fasting windows can change depending on the style of intermittent fasting that you choose to do. So now let's touch base on why everywhere you see on the internet and videos on YouTube here saying intermittent fasting is the be all and end all for weight loss. If you want to lose weight, you have to do intermittent fasting. The basic science behind it is when you are eating consistently throughout the day, the body is using the food you eat for energy. So the idea behind fasting is the longer you fast, there'll be no more stored food in your body, which means your body will use your stored fat as fuel. So that's the science behind why so many people say intermittent fasting is the best. It's the best for weight loss and fat loss. I'm going to tell you my opinion, and yes, intermittent fasting can help some people. My personal opinion is the reason intermittent fasting works for a lot of people is because it puts them in a calorie deficit. And when you are only eating in a certain window of time, so you're only giving yourself 8 hours throughout the day to eat, it is much easier to stay in your calorie deficit, which in turn is going to lead to weight loss or fat loss. If you watched any other video on my channel, I talk all about calorie deficit being the king or queen of fat loss. If you don't know what calorie deficit is or what that means, I've got a few videos already on my channel. I'll link those in the description below if you want to go watch that next to learn more about calorie deficit and how calorie deficit helps with weight loss or fat loss. So again, in this video, I'm not telling you which way is the best way. I'm just going to give you all the information. So I want to tell you one, I've seen many clients, many people, including myself, lose body fat, lose weight, get lean, achieve body recomposition without following an intermittent fasting plan. But I have also seen many clients be successful while following an intermittent fasting plan. So let's talk now about the pros and the cons and maybe the science-backed research of the benefits of intermittent fasting, but also some of the cons. So again, you can make an informed decision of what might be the best path for you. So what are some of the benefits and the pros of intermittent fasting? So the first pro of intermittent fasting is you don't have to think about food as much. So a lot of people are like, what should I eat for breakfast? I don't know what to eat. If you're doing intermittent fasting, you don't have to worry about breakfast. So you only really need to plan your food within an 8-hour window. So there becomes less of an obsession with food and eating. So if you are someone who does snack frequently throughout the day and finds themselves eating every 2 to 3 hours, even when they're not hungry, it's just because you can, or snacking late at night, having this structure in this eating window works very well for people. So that's one of the pros is the structure and not having to think about all your meals. You're just thinking of maybe 2 big meals that you're gonna eat in your 8-hour window, maybe 1 or 2 snacks, and that's it. Second pro is easier to stay in your calorie deficit, so it can lead to weight loss. So if you are gonna go over your calorie deficit, you're limited in the amount of time you're able to do that. So if you're only eating for 8 hours, it's much harder to consume a whole bunch of calories versus no structure at all in your day. So again, second pro, for some people, it could make it easier to lose weight. Some research and studies have found that intermittent fasting can also help with heart health, so decreasing cholesterol levels and blood pressure. But playing a little bit of the devil's advocate here is so can just eating healthier and exercising. Studies have shown an improvement in brain health and mood regulation, and then also improved insulin sensitivity. So some studies have found that intermittent fasting can help enhance insulin sensitivity to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. I just want to take a minute to thank today's video sponsor, Element, one of my go-tos for replenishing my electrolytes after sweaty workouts. Electrolytes are so important for so many functions in the body, including hormonal regulation, nutrient absorption, and fluid balance. Sometimes water just isn't enough, and Element has the perfect balance of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And better yet, 0 artificial sweeteners, 0 sugar, so no junk. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleeplessness, and other common symptoms of electrolyte deficiency. Right now, Element is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. Get yours at drinkelement.com/Michelle. The deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/Michelle. And another benefit found in research from fasting is cellular autophagy. That's basically a process that removes damaged cells and cellular components to hopefully improve longevity and overall health. And then when it comes to the OMAD diet, so the 1 meal a day, basically all of these pros are pretty much the same, especially when it comes to the simplicity. If you're only eating once a day, it's much easier to come up with one healthy meal, cook that once a day, and it's done. So now with that being said, so there's all the pros and the research-backed benefits. What are some of the cons? So I'm just gonna keep it real, and I'm gonna start by saying exactly what I say when people ask me my thoughts on intermittent fasting or the OMAD diet and if I think it's right for them. My first response is always this. Do you think it's something you can stick to for a very long time? Do you think it'll fit with your lifestyle? Do you think that it will feel like you're on a diet, or do you feel like this is something you can do forever and ever and ever? And often if their answer is, no, I don't think so, my best response is to say, then don't do it. Because just like I talk about in all my other videos, my first con of intermittent fasting or OMAD is that it's a diet. It's a structure that you have to stick within. Especially if you are starting a weight loss journey or you're starting a fat loss journey, you never really counted calories before, you've never really tracked macros, you don't really know a lot about that. I don't think it's necessary to dive into a structured eating plan. I personally think that the best way to start is by literally calculating your calorie deficit, which I show you in this video right here. It's super simple. I'll link that in the description below. Trying to stay in a calorie deficit without any kind of structured eating time. Trying to learn more about high caloric foods, low caloric foods, high protein foods, which I have a whole bunch of videos already on my channel you can go and binge watch, and you could literally learn everything you need to know about eating healthy depending on your goals, whether it's body recomposition, fat loss, weight loss, anything. So that's the first con, is a lot of people think, well, you know, I have about 20 pounds to lose. The only way to do it is to do intermittent fasting because, you know, everybody says that that's the only way to lose weight. That's not necessarily true. I would say the con is that it's very hard to stick to for a long time. And another thing I want to point out, I guess this could be the second con, oftentimes, especially what I tell people is when you're starting a fat loss or a weight loss journey and you really want to feel as positive as you can and feel as successful as you can on your journey. So if you look at your weekly schedule and you are someone who has a lot of meals out for dinners or lunches for work, or whether you're very social and you have an active social life and you're going out a lot, or on the weekends you're going out a lot, or you like to meet girlfriends for coffee in the morning or brunch, following an intermittent fasting plan is probably not realistic for you. A lot of people follow the main kind of most common intermittent fasting plan is a 16-8. So that means you're fasting for 16 hours and you're eating for an 8-hour window. So sometimes they'll start eating at 12 p.m. and eat till 8 p.m., or maybe you're gonna start at 11 a.m. and eat till 7 p.m., whatever it might be. But if you find you often eat outside of these windows, of course, not the end of the world. If you are doing intermittent fasting, it's not the end of the world to, mess up one day and eat outside your window. You can adjust the following day and do it that, but you almost feel like a failure when you shouldn't feel like a failure, because in the end, calorie deficit is your calorie intake over the course of a day. And that is the key to weight loss. So that's my second con, is that it might cause you to feel like a failure or feel negatively towards your weight loss journey if you mess up one day, or if you're starting to cancel plans because it's outside of your eating window. Fourth con, much harder to hit your daily protein goal. So if your goal is a body recomposition or muscle gain, like you are wanting to appear leaner and stronger, you're lifting heavy weights, you wanna make sure you're getting enough protein throughout the day in order to help with muscle recovery and muscle building, which again, lots of other videos are on my channel if you wanna know more about your protein intake and why it's very important, not only for helping you feel full, but also helping with the muscle recovery and building process. If you're only giving yourself a window, or especially one meal a day, it's very hard to get enough protein in your body in order to support the muscle building process. So those are some of the pros and benefits and cons of intermittent fasting and the OMAD diet. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail in this video specifically. If you want me to do a second video with more specifics about how to structure an intermittent fasting plan, I can do that. But like I said earlier, the basic fasting plans are usually a 16 and 8. So you choose your 8-hour eating window, and then you have a 16-hour fasting window, and you do that daily. With the OMAD diet, what a lot of people do is the 5 and 2. So where you're eating regular 5 days a week, and then 2 days a week, you are doing 1 meal a day. So there you go, guys. That is the basic science and a little bit of my opinion as to why intermittent fasting is blasted all over the internet as the be all and end all for fat loss. I hope I provided you enough information to know where you are at on your journey and whether this is something that might help you or actually hinder you in your progress. I always want you to think of one thing whenever you start anything, whether it's a workout regimen, whether it's a weight loss plan, whether it's a new diet, whatever it is, I always tell people to think, if I am successful, so say I lose my 20 pounds because I did intermittent fasting, what's the plan for after? Am I gonna keep doing this forever? Is it sustainable? If I lose my 20 pounds, how am I gonna keep that 20 pounds off? A lot of times these fad diets, which basically are all structured around a calorie deficit, which is why they work, or even a low calorie diet, you have to think of what's the long-term plan. So even if you are successful in your weight loss journey and you drop that 10 pounds or 20 pounds that you really wanted to lose, what's your plan long-term to keep it off? A lot of people just want quick results and they're willing to just quickly jump into the next plan or the next influencer who told them this was the diet that worked, but they don't think about the long term, which leads to a lot of yo-yo dieting and up and down and emotional stress and having to have a bunch of different clothing sizes in your closet, versus think, what's the best for me in my health as well as long-term sustainability. So just think of, I probably say this in a lot of videos already, if it was easy, everybody would be ripped. There is no magic pill, there is no magic diet that works for every single person. So you need to think about what's gonna work best for you. But with that being said, if you are someone who thinks you would benefit from structure, a lot of people thrive in that and being like, okay, now I know I've got my meals laid out and I'm only gonna eat between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. and that works really well for them. Say you're not a breakfast person anyway and you're like, I just like waking up, having a black coffee, going to do my workout, shower, go to work, don't even think about it, do my thing, and then 12 o'clock hits and then I can start eating. That kind of structure you think would really help you and benefit you. Some people say when they eat in the morning, they feel kind of sluggish or it makes them feel tired. Boom, then maybe intermittent fasting would work well for you specifically. So again, I wanted to provide all the information so you can make an informed decision of what you want to try and what structure might work best for you. But just know, in conclusion of this video, it is not the be all and end all when it comes to sustainable weight loss and fat loss. There are many other ways to get it done without having to eat in a specific window. Any questions, leave them in comments below. I'm always happy to help. If you've tried intermittent fasting, you've done the OMAD diet, how did you like it? What kind of results did you get? Were you able to sustain it for a long period of time? Let us know. Let's get a conversation going in the comments and help each other out based on your experience. So let's put this community to work and have some conversations. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. I've got a free download with the calorie deficit calculator if you're looking to learn how to calculate your calorie deficit. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you're interested in learning more about my online fitness and nutrition coaching program, if you need help and you want me on you 24/7 to help you with accountability as well as find the right calories and macros that will be right for you as well as the right structured training plan. Put a link in the description where you can learn more about working with me one-on-one. That's all for today. Have a great day and I will see you guys in the next one.